the day Leo was marrying his mistress. The hospital called to tell him to come see me. He hung up the phone immediately. Later, after the mistress's successful heart surgery, she wanted to thank the donor's family. When his friend checked the donor information, he froze. Leo, the family contact listed here. It's your signature. The donor was Clara. With a sharp clink, the priceless jade pendant in Leo's hand shattered on the floor. Only then did he realize he had missed his last chance to see me. A lavish wedding was underway at the Grand Hotel, complete with media interviews and a live stream. Amidst the celebratory atmosphere, a voice cut through the noise. Well, Mr. Leo, moved on to a new wife so quickly. Did the mistress finally win? The question came from a young reporter. The venue fell silent. Today was our 7th wedding anniversary. The bride was wearing the large diamond ring Leo had once bought for me at an auction. Her wedding dress was custom, made to my measurements. Even the groom she held onto was my husband. It was no wonder the reporter would ask such a question. Serena nearly stumbled, and Leo wrapped an arm around her, his face darkening. Keep spreading rumors and I'll sue you for defamation. But the reporter pressed on. How can you prove she isn't a mistress? The live stream's comments flew across the screen. OMG. Did the ex-wife send this reporter just to ruin things? I feel so bad for our Serena. What kind of mistress would have such a public, extravagant wedding? Serena gently tugged on Leo's sleeve. Maybe we should invite Clara over. I'd love to have her blessing in person, but I don't know if she'd be willing. Serena had secured her position with a pregnancy, and this wedding was indeed rushed. He hadn't even had time to file for divorce from me yet. Any attempt to defend himself would only make him look guilty. Only I, the ex-wife, showing up to offer my blessing, could make his story convincing. He nodded and sneered at the reporter. Fine. I'll have Clara come and tell you herself. Leo pulled out his phone and removed my number from his blacklist. The phone rang and rang, unanswered. He furiously sent me a string of messages. Did you send that reporter? I told you it's just a ceremony. Serena is pregnant. You need to come here and clear this up. Hurry up. The guests are waiting. Stop playing dead. I wasn't playing dead. Half an hour ago, the doctor had declared my death. I was now lying on a cold bed, an oxygen tube still in place. The surgeons were harvesting my viable organs for those in need. The rest of my body would be donated to a medical institution to serve as an anatomical donor. I had signed the donation forms, wanting every part of me to be put to good use. The persistent reporter was eventually removed by security. Serena looked disappointed. It seems Clara still isn't willing to come and bless us. Leo, convinced I had orchestrated the scene, comforted her, vowing to make me apologize. Just as the wedding vows were about to begin, Leo's phone rang. He answered it to an unfamiliar male voice. Is this Mr. Leo? What is it? MS. Clara signed a body donation agreement before her passing. She is scheduled to be transported this afternoon at 2. Would you like to come for a final farewell? No. Leo scoffed. Are you going to tell me she'll die if I don't show up? No. No. Mr. Leo. MS. Clara has already passed away. The live stream erupted in outrage. She just had to die on her ex-husband's wedding day, didn't she? If she's dead, bury her. Why call the ex-husband? Is this another threat? Crying, making a scene, and now faking death. This ex-wife is a ghost that won't go away. So unlucky. I wish she'd just die somewhere far away. If she's dead, she's dead. Tell her to stop harassing me. Leo hung up. Serena walked over. Honey, was that Clara? Is she coming over? Should we wait for her? She always played the part of the obedient, considerate partner in front of Leo, never showing a hint of jealousy. He gently placed a hand on her waist and said mockingly, See, I knew she wouldn't let today pass peacefully. She even made up an excuse about being dead. Serena's phone rang too. After she answered, her face filled with guilt, and her voice trembled. Clara. She must be angry with me. What? Was that her calling you too? Did she bully you? She clutched her chest, appearing to have trouble breathing. Honey, my chest suddenly feels so tight. It hurts. Leo's face changed. He swept her into his arms and ran towards the hospital, leaving a hall full of bewildered guests. The live stream comments and replies flashed non-stop. The ex-wife isn't dead, but the new bride is about to be cursed to death by her. In the end, she ruined the wedding. Poor couple. Can the ex-wife please just die somewhere far away? I'm so angry. Serena had a heart condition and had been on a waiting list for a donor heart. The doctor said a perfect match had just become available, and she could have the transplant surgery today. Leo signed the consent forms without hesitation. Watching her being wheeled into the operating room, he finally let out a breath. At last, he had time to deal with me, the culprit. My phone still went unanswered, and he was livid. The wedding is ruined. Are you satisfied now? As he typed the message, he failed to notice a gurney being pushed past him. For a fleeting moment, a gust of wind lifted the white sheet, revealing my head. If he had only looked up, he would have recognized me. But his attention was entirely on his phone. After a long wait, the doctor announced the surgery was a success. Serena was moved to a regular ward. When she woke up, the first thing she saw was Leo, and she burst into tears. Honey, I lost the baby. It's all my fault. Seeing her so fragile, Leo's heart ached. He comforted her softly. We have plenty of time. If you like children, we can have more. The most important thing now is for you to cooperate with the doctors so we can get you home soon. Serena nodded vigorously, her obedience heartbreaking. Leo sighed, deciding to take care of her personally. On the day Serena was discharged, she insisted on presenting the doctors with a thank you banner and a letter of gratitude. The doctor waved his hand. If you want to thank someone, thank the volunteer who donated their heart to you. Serena tugged on Leo's sleeve. The doctor's right. Honey, we should try to find the donor. I want to thank them for giving me a second chance at life. Leo took the doctor's words to heart. During a small gathering with friends at his estate, he asked his friend Alex to discreetly look into the donor's information, as it was confidential. Alex readily agreed. As they chatted, the conversation inevitably turned to me. By the way, has your ex been behaving lately? The news of me sabotaging their wedding had gone viral, making me a topic of gossip among his friends. Leo sneered. She's feeling guilty, so she's hiding. Someone lamented. You two used to be so in love. I just don't understand her behavior now. A flash of annoyance crossed Leo's face. We never had a wedding when we got married, and the 7th anniversary party I planned for us was ruined. She's upset about it, but that's no reason to cause a scene at my wedding to Serena, especially when Serena was pregnant. The others agreed. It's such a shame. You were finally going to be a father, and she ruined it. The baby's gone. Serena has been by your side all these years. We've all seen it. It hasn't been easy for her. His friends, who privately called Serena the little sister-in-law, sided with her. Hearing them defend her only strengthened Leo's conviction. When I find her, I'll teach her a lesson. She couldn't get pregnant herself after all these years, so she used dirty tricks to make Serena miscarry. I never thought she could become this kind of person. I just want a child. Is that so much to ask? Why can't she be more considerate? But I was pregnant. I had told him, but he didn't believe me. He believed Serena, but not me. The day I found out I was pregnant, I ran into Serena at the hospital. Leo wasn't there. Her usual gentle demeanor was gone, replaced by a smug, innocent-looking face as she asked loudly, "Here for a gynecology problem. Clara, don't tell me you're pregnant." As far as I know, Leo hasn't slept with you in a long time, has he? Then again, for the past 2 years, I've been the one sharing his bed. The triumph in her eyes was unmistakable. It was true he hadn't touched me in a long time. The last time was over 2 months ago, right after I returned to the country. We went to his parents for a family dinner. He drank too much, and we stayed the night. The atmosphere was perfect. A reunion after a long separation. We were like newlyweds, lost in each other's arms all night. It was that one time I got pregnant. Serena snatched the pregnancy report from my hand. Her expression shifted. And finally, she leaned in and whispered provocatively, "Let's make a bet. If we're both pregnant at the same time, who do you think he'll choose?" What? Scared to bet. Clara. Besides the empty title of Mrs. Leo, what else do you have? Trust. Understanding. Love. You have none of it. Why not just step aside? Serena then staged a drama of her own. Pretending to run away while pregnant, she disappeared without a word, blocking everyone, leaving only a single message. I've made enough money. I'm done serving you. At first, Leo didn't seem to care. He just held me tight and apologized, busying himself with planning our 7th anniversary celebration. He was like his old self again, before Serena ever appeared. Gentle, attentive, and doting. Until one of Leo's friends found Serena's new social media account online. A series of vlogs documented her pregnancy journey, portraying an independent, positive single mother. 2. She never showed her face, but one video featured a pregnancy report with the name blurred out. The date on the report was from 2 days before she ran away, showing she was already 8 weeks pregnant. The caption read, "My darling, your father might not let me keep you, but you have a mother who loves you more than anything. Don't worry, mommy will raise you all on her own." Leo trembled, watching the video over and over, staying up all night. The next morning, his voice hoarse, he told me he had booked a flight to go find her and bring her back. Before leaving, he handed me a divorce agreement. "Clara, let's just get a fake divorce for now. The child is innocent. I don't want him to be a bastard and face judgment. Once the child is a bit older, we can remarry." I felt a chill spread through my body, reaching the very marrow of my bones. Just yesterday morning, he had held me and whispered, "Clara, let's have a child." "Okay, a boy or a girl. Just one is enough." His fingers traced my face. "With your eyes and my nose. They'd be so cute. From now on, our little family of 3 will never be apart." He adored children. I had planned to tell him I was pregnant on our anniversary. I stared at the papers in his hand. "Are you sure about this? Just sign it. I have a flight to catch," he urged. "What if I told you I'm pregnant too?" Leo rubbed his temples, his eyes filled with disappointment. "She's pregnant, and now you're pregnant. What a coincidence." "It's true." "Then get rid of it." I locked myself in my room for 3 days and 3 nights. In the end, I decided to terminate the pregnancy and start a new life without him. While waiting for the procedure at the hospital, I felt a flutter in my lower abdomen, like a little fish swimming inside me. I asked the nurse, who told me it was the baby's first movements. Perhaps my baby sensed the danger and was trying to make its presence known. Tears streamed down my face as I caressed my belly. My resolve wavered. I wanted to keep this child. I had no other family. This was the only person in the world who shared my blood. I called Leo. A low chuckle from Serena answered. "Clara, so, what if you're pregnant? You lost. From now on, your man is mine." Then she raised her voice. "Honey, Clara seems upset. Is she having second thoughts? Do you want to say something to comfort her?" Before I could speak, Leo's sigh came through the phone. "Clara, can you please stop making things difficult? Are you really going to compete with a child?" A dense, sharp pain spread from my heart. My nose stung, and I held back tears. "Is it possible that she's the one who's lying? Do you think everyone is like you? Why would Serena lie?" I froze, speechless, without my realizing it. Leo's trust in Serena had completely eclipsed his trust in me. He believed everything she said without question, while my words were dismissed as unreasonable drama. He had lost all his patience. "I will not let Serena's child be a bastard. Go get rid of it." "I don't want it." The child he himself had rejected. I was devastated. I numbly signed the consent form the doctor handed me and went into the operating room. But I started bleeding uncontrollably. The doctors told me to contact my family. I mustered my last bit of strength to call Leo. "I'm at the hospital." Before I could finish, his impatient voice cut me off. "No matter what drama you pull, it won't work. I'm not leaving my wedding." "Clara, what have you become?" I heard my heart shatter. The pain made my whole body tremble. My voice was barely a whisper. "Leo, I'm dying." "Then go die." "Leo, I really did die." A month after my death, Leo and his friends still hadn't found any trace of me. But the rumors about me online showed no signs of fading. Someone finally noticed that I, the ex-wife, had never responded to any of the online. They all assumed I was hiding out of guilt. Some even started a campaign to find Leo's ex-wife. Is this ex-wife a turtle, hiding in her shell? She made such a scene before, but now that her reputation is ruined, she's tucked her tail between her legs and disappeared. In the lab, the technicians had finished preparing me. Their work was excellent. I was a perfect specimen. The skin on my chest and abdomen had been peeled back, clearly revealing the structures within. My baby, small as a tomato, slept peacefully in my womb, connected to me by an umbilical cord. We would never be separated again. They gave me a beautiful name, Luna. I was soon to be sent for exhibition at the city's Museum of Life's Mysteries. Leo was having dinner with some friends. One of them pestered him to see the jade he'd recently bought. It was a Buddha amulet, he said. A gift for Serena to keep her safe. Pure green. Must have cost a fortune. Right. Leo nodded. I had to outbid a few people at the auction. It did cost a bit. Alex asked. Didn't you also buy an imperial green necklace a few days ago? Where's that? That one's the real treasure. 100 million in one go. I didn't bring it. That one's for Clara. He paused. Her birthday is coming up. A friend teased him sarcastically. TSK. So you're not angry anymore. You talk a big game. But the moment you get something nice, you save it for Clara, he retorted. She's still my wife. After all, if she comes out and apologizes to my satisfaction, then I'll give it to her. Alex's phone rang. You found the heart donor. Good. Send it to me. After hanging up, he opened a file, his expression growing grim. Leo. The family contact listed here. Leo toyed with the amulet, not even looking up. What is it? Just send me the contact info. He intended to thank the donor's family, but only to appease Serena. He had already decided to just give them a sum of money. That way, he, Serena, and the donor's family would all be satisfied. Alex swallowed hard, his voice hoarse. It was signed with your name. It's your handwriting. The donor was your wife. Leo froze, slowly raising his head. What did you say? Say it again. The donor was Clara. Alex repeated. The heart Serena received was Clara's. She's been gone for a long time. With a sharp crack, the amulet fell from Leo's hand and shattered into pieces. Leo snatched the phone from Alex, his eyes wide, staring at the screen. His mouth hung open, his face as pale as paper. The signature was smudged by water stains. But he remembered. He had indeed signed it. Years ago, I was diagnosed with leukemia. When he got the diagnosis, he cried secretly for a long time, yet acted as if nothing was wrong in front of me. He proposed to me in the hospital room, and we got our marriage certificate with our fellow patients as witnesses. This disease is very treatable, Clara. You just stay in the hospital, and we'll have a wedding as soon as you're better. At the time, CAR-T therapy had just been introduced from abroad. It was incredibly expensive, over 300,000 a shot. For us, who had just graduated, it was an astronomical sum. He, a reserved and proud engineering graduate, decided to swallow his pride and become a salesman, enduring endless client dinners and drinking until his stomach bled. A man of 6 feet 1 inch, withered to less than 130 pounds. He finally secured a massive $20 million deal. But his boss, who had promised a 5% commission, gave him a paltry $20,000. He knelt before his boss, begging, "This is my wife's life." Saving money. His boss fired him and had security throw him out. That was the first time he ever got into a fight. He was beaten up and sent to the hospital. I was still hospitalized at the time. When I heard the news, the 300-meter walk from my ward to his emergency room felt like a century. He lay there, barely conscious, my heart twisted in pain. I discharged myself from the hospital. In the corridor, I saw people promoting organ and body donation. I asked them for an application form. When he woke up, I handed him the form, feigning a light-hearted tone. "Hey, I applied to be a body donor. I can make a small contribution to society in the future, but it needs a family member's signature. Mr. Leo, would you do the honors?" He tore the form to shreds. I handed him another. He gritted his teeth. "You're still so young. Body donation is something for at least 50 years from now. Besides, we're married. We live together and will be buried together. Have you forgotten?" I held his hand. I don't want to give up either. But if this is my fate, I hope I can do some small good to help those in need. When I can't live anymore, someone can use my heart to experience the world. Someone can use my corneas to see its colors. They will all be living for me. It's another way for me to exist. He finally agreed, but tears streamed down his face as he signed. Soaking the paper, He filled out a form for himself too. Even if we become anatomical donors, I want to be right there beside you. Not long after, his client heard about his situation, withdrew the deal from his old company, and insisted that only Leo could handle it. We started our own company. The client's down payment was enough for my life-saving injection. Later, the company grew, and we earned many times that 300,000. But the man who had abandoned his pride for me, who had loved me more than life itself, had changed. Leo, you didn't know about Clara. Leo slumped into his chair as if his soul had been ripped out. No, it's impossible. He trembled, shaking his head and muttering to himself. How could she be dead? No. The doctor said she had fully recovered. You all must have made a mistake. Alex, the person you hired is completely unreliable. Alex just watched him quietly as he descended into madness. When he finally fell silent, Alex spoke. There's no mistake. Leo, I also found her death certificate. He opened his phone to show Leo a hospital stamped certificate, which clearly stated the time and cause of my death. Clara passed away during an abortion procedure due to massive hemorrhaging. Leo looked at Alex, refusing to take the phone. How could Clara be pregnant? If she wasn't pregnant, how could she be having an abortion? He still didn't believe what I had told him. It's true. Leo, it says here she was about 20 weeks pregnant. The date of her death is the same day as your wedding. No wonder Serena got a heart donor so quickly that day. Leo snatched the certificate from his hand, his eyes wide, scrutinizing every word. Clara, she was really pregnant. So it was true. When she told me she was pregnant, I thought she was just trying to compete with Serena. I didn't believe her. I told her to get rid of it. Haha. God, why are you playing with me like this? He seemed to be losing his mind, laughing and crying at the same time. He slammed his fist on the marble floor, not even noticing the blood covering his knuckles. Leo, my condolences. He scrambled to his feet and rushed out the door. Leo, wait for me. Leo drove back to our marital home, a place he hadn't visited in a long time. After deciding to take responsibility for Serena, he had moved out and into a large villa with her. Everything in the house was tidy, as usual, but a layer of dust covered the tables. The house looked like it had been uninhabited for some time. I always kept the house spotless. On the balcony, the once lush garden was withered and dead. Even my favorite Scottish green rose had died. He had given it to me when we first moved to this city. I loved flowers and plants. I couldn't walk past a garden without stopping. Back then, we lived in a cramped apartment with no balcony. He got a cutting from someone, planted it in a pot, and built a shelf on the windowsill for it. One day, I'll buy you a huge mansion with a garden, and I'll hire a gardener to fill it with flowers for you. Under his careful watch, the cutting survived and grew taller. The year it first bloomed, I was diagnosed with leukemia. Leo cut a bouquet, wrapped it himself, and proposed to me at the hospital. Scottish green roses mean eternal love. Clara, my heart belongs only to you. No matter what you become, through sickness and health, I will always be by your side, never leaving you. We finally bought our own place, and our homes got bigger and bigger. We moved several times, and the variety of flowers on our balcony grew. But that rose was always our most cherished. This year, he finally bought a 20-acre estate and planted 5 acres of green roses for me. But in the end, just because Serena said, I like roses too, they make me happy, which must be good for the baby's development, he moved in with her instead. Leo stood before the withered garden, his thoughts unreadable. Leo, there's a prenatal check. Up book here. It's Clara's. Leo clutched the booklet, his face stiff, his hand trembling uncontrollably. Tucked inside was a stack of lab results and ultrasound reports. One report fell out. He bent down to pick it up. Seeing the information on it, he almost collapsed. Alex caught him and glanced at the paper. Why does this look so familiar? Leo's gaze lingered on the report for a long time. Then he rushed into the study and pulled another pregnancy report from a drawer. It was the one he had secretly downloaded from Serena's social media and treasured. He laid the 2 reports side by side on the desk. Besides the names and ages, everything else was identical. Alex's face turned pale. It was he who had found Serena's account online and shown it to Leo. So, Serena's pregnancy report was fake. Leo, I'm so sorry. I never thought my good intentions would cause such a disaster. Alex looked like a guilty child, bowing his head in apology. If I hadn't shown you her videos, you and Clara would still be happy together. It's all my fault. Leo sat there, stunned. His mind blank. His phone rang again. It was Serena. He glanced at it and hung up. After a long time, he finally stood up and began to look through my belongings. The bedroom, the closets. All my personal items were gone. When I decided to leave him, I had packed my things and given them to a friend. Anything useless, I had thrown away. He couldn't find a single photograph of me. They went to the hospital, hoping to find any final images of me from their records. Only then did he realize it was the same hospital where Serena had her surgery. On their wedding day, she was given a new life, while I passed into the next. But he was told the surveillance footage was only kept for a month. It had already been deleted. Alex managed to obtain my medical records and spoke with the staff who were on duty that day. A nurse recalled the situation with regret. The baby was healthy. It was already moving. She even let me feel her belly. I couldn't feel much, but she seemed a little happy. But then she made a phone call and was clearly distressed. Her face went white. She signed the consent form without a second thought. We tried to persuade her to reconsider, but she refused and demanded the surgery proceed as quickly as possible. Just then, Leo saw the surgical and resuscitation records. They detailed the entire process from the moment I was wheeled into the operating room to when my death was declared. 10:25. Patient experiencing massive vaginal bleeding. 10:37. Blood pressure drops to 8,040 millimeters of mercury. 11:05. Patient briefly regains consciousness. Attempts to call family to discuss condition. Call is disconnected by the other party. Heart rate drops to 40 BPM. Blood pressure unreadable. 11:37. EKG shows flatline. Major artery pulse absent. Patient has no spontaneous respiration. He slammed his fists against his own head, sobbing as he sank to the floor. MS. Clara's belongings were collected by a friend, who also helped contact the Red Cross. So, Clara didn't leave anything behind. Alex immediately realized his mistake and quickly changed the subject. Leo, did Clara have any close friends? Leo shook his head. She didn't have many friends. It was true. I didn't have many close friends. My life revolved around him. After my leukemia was cured, we ran the company together, and the people we knew were mostly business contacts. Later, I overworked myself and was forced by my doctor to rest, so I stepped back from the company. After that, my social circle shrank even more. Leo examined Serena's medical file. There was no mention of a pregnancy anywhere. When you performed her surgery, did you find any signs of pregnancy? The lead surgeon denied it. No. Leaving the hospital, Leo drove to the Red Cross, hoping to find some information about me there. Halfway there, he received a call from his assistant. Mr. Leo, we have a lead on MS. Clara's whereabouts. Where? The assistant hesitated. It seems she's at the Museum of Life's Mysteries. Mr. Leo, it's all over the news. Haven't you seen it? The assistant sent him a link to a live stream. When he opened it, a reporter was standing in front of a human anatomical specimen. This anatomical donor beside me, now named Luna, is none other than the infamous ex-wife, MS. Clara. The reporter looked familiar. Leo remembered him. He was the one who had asked if Serena was a mistress who had schemed her way to the top. This guy, Alex replied. Leo. I looked into him. His name is. He's actually a financial reporter. For some reason, he seems very interested in Clara. Did Clara ever mention him to you? Leo shook his head. Of course. He didn't know. In the live stream, the viewers weren't convinced. So this ex-wife is really dead. Is this for real? I have my doubts. I think this reporter is trying to clean up her image. Wasn't he the one who called Serena a mistress? Someone should investigate this reporter's credentials. I suspect he's creating a diversion. Just picking a random specimen and claiming it's the ex-wife. That's an insult to the donor. The camera focused on the specimen. Luna. Clearly showing my bones and nervous system. Leo looked at Alex. Does it look like her? Is it her? The specimen's face had been preserved in a way that made it unrecognizable. Alex shook his head. The build is similar. but I can't be sure. Leo rushed to the car. I have to see for myself. A guide stood in front of the exhibit, explaining Luna's story to a group of students. The cameraman followed the guide's words, zooming in for a close-up of each part. When the camera moved to the abdomen, the guide paused, his voice softening. The donor was pregnant. Based on the size of the fetus, she was about 4 months along. However, the fetus is not entirely intact. According to hospital records, she passed away from hemorrhaging during an abortion procedure. The wounds on the fetus are still quite visible. Leo was watching the live stream as he drove. When he heard the guide's last words, he slammed on the brakes, crashing into a guardrail. His head hit the steering wheel, and a bloody gash opened on his forehead, blood dripping down his face. Alex, who was following him, stopped his car and ran to check on him. Leo, let me take you to the hospital. Leo waved him off and let Alex help him out of the car. Take me to Clara. Now. Alex told his driver to speed towards the museum. Leo's phone rang. He hung up. It rang again. He glanced at the caller ID and coldly hung up again. As live stream continued, the camera now panning over the specimen's chest cavity. Unfortunately, Luna's chest cavity is empty. As per her final wishes, her heart and lungs were transplanted to those in need. Leo stared at the empty space in the specimen's chest, his face draining of all color. The guide in the live stream concluded, Luna was a person with a great heart. Her organs saved the lives of 13 people. In her life, she donated to impoverished students and patients with critical illnesses. After her death, she resolutely donated all her assets, and herself, to society. The comments flew across the screen. This definitely isn't the ex-wife. She had that kind of conscience. The ex-wife was so selfish. No way she would donate anything. Some people have no shame, using a selfless woman like Luna to clear her own name. The camera finally settled on a note displayed beside the exhibit, bearing my signature. The world is too beautiful. 20-something years was truly not enough. To my dear future doctors, keep fighting. I hope that one day, you can cure all illnesses and save future generations from the pain of sickness. Clara. I wrote that 7 years ago. Back then, he still loved me so much, and I was full of love for the world. OMG. It really is her. Have we been used this whole time? Everyone calm down. It could just be someone with the same name. Yeah, there are lots of people with the same name. The viewers were still skeptical. Leo, do you know how Clara found those students to donate to? I'd like to sponsor a few myself. Alex asked. Leo shook his head. I don't know. She never told me. After our company started turning a profit, I made annual donations to sick children and sponsored several students from low-income families. And his sister were among the first students I helped. Leo was always busy with the company. I never bothered him with these small acts of charity, not wanting to distract him. Later, when I was abroad, his replies to my messages grew slower and slower. I thought he was just busy and didn't think much of it, pouring all my energy into charity work. When I returned and discovered his affair with Serena, we communicated even less. Leo stumbled into the Museum of Life's Mysteries. The reporters had left, and the hall was much quieter. The specimens were displayed in transparent cases. The moment he saw Luna, he knew. It was absolutely me. Leo pressed his hands against the glass case, his body slowly sinking. Finally, he knelt on the floor. He wrapped his arms around the case, trying to embrace the specimen within. But the glass stood in his way. He looked at the lifeless body in the case, his entire body trembling in despair. He tried to speak, but only a hoarse, rattling sound came out. Frustrated, he pounded his head with his fist. His strange behavior drew stares from onlookers. A staff member approached to intervene. Sir, please remain calm. Leo looked up, his eyes filled with anguish, unable to utter a single word. Alex stepped in and explained his relationship to me. The staff member, filled with pity, stopped trying to restrain him. He stayed there until the museum was about to close. Finally, his voice returned. My wife is gone. His phone rang again. It was Serena. This time, he didn't hang up. He answered. Honey, where are you? Are you still at Alex's? When are you coming home? I drank too much. I'll be back soon. Leo's voice was unnervingly calm as he stood up, but the cold fury in his eyes betrayed his true emotions. Do you want me to come pick you up? No need. You should rest, he replied in a gentle, caring tone, but it sent a shiver down Alex's spine. After hanging up, Leo reached out, placed a hand on the display case, and said his farewell. Clara, I need to take care of a few things first. Once I'm done, I promise I'll come back and atone for what I've done. Alex swallowed, asking cautiously, Leo, are you okay? Maybe you should go clear your head. Leo smiled and walked away with a brisk pace, waving his hand. Do I look like I'm not okay? Leo, how about we get the guys together for a few drinks? No. Can't you see I have things to do at home? What about the cut on your forehead? Let me take you to the hospital first. By now, Leo's forehead had several cuts, all still bleeding. No need. Compared to what Clara suffered, this is nothing. The moment Leo walked through the door, Serena rushed to greet him. Seeing the injuries on his face, she paled and cried out, Honey, what happened to you? It's nothing. I just fell. She immediately got a clean towel to wash his wounds. Leo pulled her down to sit with him. Don't worry about it. It's not like I'm dying. Don't fuss over me. Be careful with your health. I'm strong as an ox now. I'm fine. Serena winked playfully. Leo wrapped his arms around her from behind, his hands resting on her stomach as he asked softly, Serena, when are you going to give me a baby? She hesitated, her voice tinged with sadness. I want to, but our luck is always just a little off. It's all my fault. If I had been stronger, I wouldn't have been so upset when Clara ignored me, and we wouldn't have lost our baby. Even now, she was still blaming me. Leo's hands on her abdomen tightened. He whispered in her ear, Serena, tell me, were you really pregnant back then? His tone was still incredibly gentle, but Serena's face changed. She pouted. Honey, you don't believe me. I believe you. I believe you. He closed his eyes, a mocking smile on his lips. That jade amulet, I broke it by accident. What? Serena couldn't help but cry out. How did it break? Alex said he found the person who donated your heart. I got excited and dropped it. Do you think there's a meaning to a broken jade? It means it protected me from disaster. Sway sway pingin. Broken for peace. Don't be sad. Honey. Heh. Leo's face instantly darkened. Protected you. Does trash like you deserve protection? He suddenly threw Serena to the floor. She landed hard on the marble, crying out in pain as she looked at him with a wounded expression. Honey, what's wrong with you? Huh. You have the nerve to ask what's wrong. He walked over and kicked her in the stomach. Serena clutched her stomach, curled up in a corner, trembling. Stop with that pathetic act. It's disgusting. Do you have anything to confess to me now? Honey, it hurts. Don't call me honey, you bitch. My only wife is Clara. You're in pain. He grabbed her by the hair. So you know what pain feels like. His face twisted into a cruel smile. Did you know my wife is dead? Serena's eyes darted away, and she lowered her head. You know, honey, don't get upset. She's dead, and you're walking around with her heart. You must be thrilled, right? I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't want this to happen. Clara's death was a medical accident. I shouldn't be held responsible. Honey, you should go after the hospital. The couple, so inseparable yesterday, were now mortal enemies. Leo blamed Serena for my death. Serena pushed the blame onto the hospital. It must have been an incompetent doctor who failed to save her in time. Honey, I'll go with you to the hospital to demand an explanation. But she was mistaken. The more she argued, the more she fueled his rage. Leo just watched her with a gentle expression. She thought she had convinced him and struggled to her feet. Honey, let's go get justice for Clara together. A sharp slap echoed through the room. A burning pain spread across her face. She looked up in shock. Leo grabbed her chin, a smile playing on his lips. Get justice from the hospital. You want me to cause a scene? Clara hated that kind of unreasonable behavior. Are you trying to make her look down on me? No, that's not it. The pain made her break out in a cold sweat. She didn't know Leo at all. I remembered a time we went to meet a client together. The client tried to grope me. Leo, with a warm smile on his face, invited the man for a smoke. In a surveillance blind spot, he smilingly broke the man's wandering hand. You still haven't answered me. Where is the child you were supposedly pregnant with? Why can't I find any record of it in your medical files? Honey, I was wrong. I just love you too much. Yes, I was jealous of her. Jealous of the beautiful past you two shared. Jealous that you wanted the whole world to know she was back. Jealous of you planning that whole 7th anniversary party for her. The baby. We can have one soon. He turned on the faucet and shoved Serena's head into the sink, holding her under the water as she struggled. He didn't let go until she went limp. Before leaving, he kicked her hard in the lower body several times. She clutched her stomach, screaming in agony. Honey, my stomach hurts. Take me to the hospital. Blood started to seep from between her legs. More and more. Leo just watched her coldly. He only left after she passed out. Under the cover of night, Leo returned to our marital home. He tossed and turned in bed, scrolling through social media. Someone had posted a long article clearing my name, detailing all the charity work I had done over the years. Many of the people I had helped also came forward to speak up. At the same time, someone had dug up Serena's past. She had dropped out of middle school to become a hostess in a karaoke bar. At 18, she came to the city with a sugar daddy, got pregnant, and tried to force his wife out, only to be beaten in the street and miscarry. Later, after plastic surgery, she returned to her old profession and latched onto Leo. The exposé was detailed, complete with numerous photos. The worst part is, she paid for an online army to smear the original wife, leading netizens to bully her. She's so shameless. How dare she? The original wife and the scumbag weren't even divorced. I've never seen such an audacious mistress. And the heart she has is the original wife's. It's just that she's too good at acting. She used us all as her weapons. The one who really deserves to die is the scumbag. If he hadn't cheated, the original wife wouldn't have suffered so much. Leo read the comments and murmured, "Yes, I'm the one who deserves to die. Clara, just wait a little longer. I will come and atone." Alex sent him contact information, but the reporter hung up as soon as he heard Leo's voice. So Leo went to apartment early the next morning and waited, finally cornering him as he was about to leave. "Mister, I'm begging you, please give me Clara's belongings. Isn't this the high and mighty Mr. Leo? When did you become so humble?" Was not moved. Leo fell to his knees with a thud. "I just want something of Clara's to remember her by. It's too late. We followed her wishes and burned everything. Did she not leave a single word for me? She just wanted you to stay far, far away from her. That was my last wish." After he hung up on me, I had called Lily's sister. They were the first students I had ever sponsored. It was right after I recovered from leukemia and our company had just become profitable. Lily was sick and couldn't afford treatment, and their grandmother were begging on the streets. Her surgery wasn't that expensive, only $70,000. I happened to have it, and putting myself in their shoes, I paid for it. Lily was the one who stayed with me until the very end. Clara's final wish was to cut all ties with you, to never see you again, in life or in death. Also, her shares in your company have all been donated to a charitable foundation. Someone will be in touch to handle the transfer soon. Leo nodded. I understand. Since it's her wish, I will fulfill it completely. Leo donated all his shares in the company to charity. Shortly after this decision, he was arrested. When they came for him, he was at the Museum of Life's Mysteries, kneeling before my specimen. In his hand was the jade necklace he never got to give me. When the police arrived, he was calm and surrendered without a fight. It was Serena who had reported him. The housekeeper had found her, barely clinging to life. At the hospital, they found she had a shattered pelvis, a ruptured uterus, and would never be able to have children. Her spine was broken, and she would be bedridden for the rest of her life. When Leo heard of her condition, he paused for a moment, then laughed until tears streamed down his face. She must live a long, long life. After all, she's using Clara's heart. As they led him away, he begged the police and the museum staff for one last chance to touch me. I want to put this necklace on her. His request was denied. He was sentenced to 5 years for intentional injury. In prison, he attempted suicide and wrote a will, stating he wanted to donate his body, but he was saved. After that, he wasn't quite right in the head, always muttering my name, Clara, to himself. After his release, His second suicide attempt was successful. Fearing he would be found too late, he hung himself in a hospital. He left a suicide note beside him, but it was still too late. He wasn't discovered for several hours, and his organs were no longer viable for donation. His parents refused to donate his body and had him cremated. From now on, for lifetimes to come, we will never meet again.